Welcome back to the show. This is Soji today here on GHOne TV. The things you don't get to see behind the scenes are interesting. But Captain has joined me in studio. Captain, good morning.
Good morning, Lily.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing awesome.
How was your night?
Quite short, but hey, how you for do?
You know, sometimes you wake up and then you be wondering, what excuse can I get for my bosses so that
I know. This morning, you know, when my alarm went off, I snoozed it, and then I said, oh.
That's always a recipe for disaster. If you are not
I think
careful,
I couldn't sleep. When I snoozed, I was just lying down. I was telling myself, and I'm in Kwejumane.
you have no choice.
I know.
You have to go and
I
serve.
know.
Yes, you have to go
hey,
and serve. But of course, that's what we do. So we always have to. Absolutely, we always have to be on our feet and come and serve the people that we want to serve.
Absolutely.
And all of that. And that's the beauty of it. They also enjoy it from the luxury of their homes, their offices, and wherever.
And I'm jealous of them.
Sometimes, you know, the interesting part is when you wake up on your television when you are still in bed, very comfortable to watch and hear, and get every information that you want to get in whatever field that your interest may be and all of that. But of course, it is what it is. The world is round. Yeah, the world is round and all of that. So we are here again to serve you.
Absolutely.
And serve the people.
Absolutely. But what happened in court yesterday?
So
one of the cases that we predicted has actually come to pass.
Yes.
I think that we can open a church.
So if you follow the nuances of the case, you follow the case from the beginning up to this stage, you understand why it was one of the cases that we did predict that it is likely to be off. And of course, it was a matter of when and not if. It was just a matter of when and not if, because the NDC in opposition made that clear. In fact, the former president, now President John Dramani Mahama, asked that question, who organizes who on social media? And we are talking about Oliver Barker-Vormawor. And of course, when the Attorney General also took over, Dr. Dominic Ayine took over, it made mention about the fact that if you look at the cases, James Chachu question, that one is still pending, though Chachu Chikaza intend to fight that particular case throughout the court system. Oliver himself, at one of the court sittings, indicated to me that he expects that case to have been truncated even as far back as in February. During the Democracy Hub issues and all of that. And that case is off. But the other one that was pending that has to do with the treason felony. And for all those who will know, we'll give you the breakdown by way of giving you the artwork to give you the breakdown of what has been happening from that case, the treason felony matter at the court where Oliver was in fact arrested and charged with all of that. So there on your screens. And guess what? February 11, 2022, that was when this matter surfaced. Oliver was arrested at the airport when he was on his way from UK down because of certain posts that he did, or he left messages he left on his social media platform, Facebook, and also Twitter at the time now, X Spaces, and all of that. And so he was arrested for allegedly threatening to stage a coup in Ghana if the controversial e-levy at the time, you know, the e-levy controversies came up and all that. He's alleged to have made a point that if that levy is passed or that bill is passed, he's going to stage a coup. So that was on the social media platform. Then fast forward, February 14, and guess what that day is?
Valentine's Day.
And I remember the
celebrating Valentine's Day at the court, right?
I remember the
action. And the doc answering questions.
I remember that day very well at the Ashama District Court, where Justice Anna Mrs. Kakra Bansbury sat and dealt with the issue. Oliver was brought and he was in that, what do you call it, and the T-shirts and then handcuffed, and we always have to be singing, "Arise, Ghana, youth for your country." And I remember when he was in handcuffed, raised the arm, two hands.
Sometimes I feel Oliver assumes he's the reincarnated Nkrumah.
No, you see, that's why those around him calls him Osajifo. So you know that in some of his social media and names, he has Osajifo in there, and there's a reason why they call him that. So on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, Oliver was arraigned the first time on 2 counts, 2 provisional counts of treason felony. And so in relation to the 2 messages that he's alleged to have posted, one on X Spaces and the other one on Facebook. Then fast forward, they've been forth and back. We are sending advice, case docket to the Attorney General's office for advice, all of that. We are waiting for that. So there's been that adjournment every 2 weeks. They were adjourned between February to August 1. I remember that one very clear when prosecution came to court and indicated that the Attorney General has advised that he be charged officially with the 2 counts of treason felony. And it became an issue, Lily, the day that the court was committing him to go and stand trial at the High Court. And one of the things that I remember his lawyer at the time, Dr. Justice Shremsai, indicated was to the fact that if you look at the particulars of offense that alleges the charges, there were issues with that. It offends the rules of multiplicity. Again, offends the rules of duplicity. Because if you look at count 1, count 1 eventually alleges post that offenses that count 2 also has. Again, that particulars of offense contain 2 different particulars. One that has to do with treason felony and another one that has to do with high treason. So which one is he going to defend himself with? And per the law, if you are stating particulars of offense, it should be clear and concise. So once you pick the charge, you know that the particulars of offense supports it. They make the point that it is multiple in so many ways, so it offends against the rule of multiplicity. Then the second one has to do with the fact that even though the posts were similar, one happened on Facebook and the other happened on Twitter or X Spaces. So it was, in fact, revised and stated as a second count. And they make the point. But the court was of the considered view that once that has been tabled and the AG's advice is that Oliver be charged with the offenses of treason felony, he is committed to go and stand trial at the High Court. And September 1 was when Oliver made an appearance at the High Court after the August 1 when the court committed him. And the case was assigned to Justice Mary Mami Ikwe-Yenzu. I remember that very first day, fresh from legal vacation. So when the case was called, in fact, it has to be, it was during the course of the legal vacation, I might say, the case was called because Justice Mary Yenzu sat throughout that legal year vacation. And so the case was adjourned because there were certain things that did not come up in all of that. Until subsequently, the case came up, and it's been up and down in the courts. When the lawyers of Oliver Barker at the time disagreed with the mode, the position, in fact, they challenged the bail of indictment because they make the point that, look, if you're having a charge sheet that alleges or offends against the rules of multiplicity and the rules of duplicity, then it means it has to be started all over again. They made a prayer before the High Court. It was dismissed. They went to the Supreme Court. And in fact, the Supreme Court did agree with them on May 20 that if you look at the charge sheet, there's a problem. But the problem will not allow them to go back to the district court to go and start all over again. But the rules, the court is allowing the prosecution to rather amend the particulars of offense. They adjourned the case, which they did, amended the charge sheet again, and brought it back. And guess what? When Oliver's plea was taken in June 1, he said, no, I disagree with the nature of the charge sheet before the court, so I will not respond to the plea. So the plea as to whether he is guilty or not guilty, Oliver did not respond to her. And he did not offend any laws. The laws also allow that, yes, if an accused person decides or charges are read to an accused person and get to a point where he decides that, no, there's a problem with the charge sheet, it's a decision to make. But the court is also allowed that an accused person who does not respond to a charge or an offense in court, the court will enter a not guilty plea. And that's what Justice Mary Mami Ikwe-Yenzu did and entered a not guilty plea for him. And then the case was pending up and down. Jurors were impaneled. In fact, the jury was impaneled. And then trial will start. It's been forth and back. You have to go to the Supreme Court again and all of that until such time that we are in now. And also, so 20th May 2024, the High Court dismissed Barker-Vormawor's motion in order the trial to commence. There was another point that they also challenged at the Court of Appeal in relation to, in fact, at the Supreme Court, they want the judge to be prohibited, to be recused, but at some point in time, that did not happen. So if the director, let's take the other slide. Okay, so on 11th of December 2024, Barker-Vormawor filed a motion at the Supreme Court invoking its supervisory jurisdiction for an order of certiorari to prohibit to the issues at the High Court. Yeah. And so he went to the High Court asking the court that the decision taken by the High Court, we disagree. The court to quash it, but that did not happen. In fact, that did not happen for him. And then March 12, 2020, the Attorney General filed a nolle prosequa. So that was last week, Wednesday, a week tomorrow. That was when this nolle prosequa was filed at the High Court. And what it means is that what the Attorney General is saying by way of nolle prosequa is to officially inform the court that, yes, we do not intend to prosecute this case any longer. We are dropping the charges against Oliver Barker-Vormawor in relation to this matter. So fast forward, today is 18th March 2025. And what is expected to happen is that state prosecutors will be in court to officially inform the court. In fact, I've seen a copy of the NP nolle prosequa on the case docket yesterday. And so what is expected to happen today is that the court of state attorneys will come to court and inform the court officially or orally inform the court that, yes, we have filed this with the copy is with the courts, and Oliver would accordingly be discharged of this particular case. So fast forward, absolutely, fast forward from 11th of February 2022. And I must say that between the time period, it's more than 3 years, isn't it? The trial had not started yet. Right. So all this, what we are going, the preliminary issues and all of that, the trial has not started. The trial starts when prosecution calls their first witness. And as we speak, no witness has been called. Prosecution indicated in their bill of indictment that they were calling 3 witnesses. But as of today, and this particular point in time that we are talking, we are discussing this matter, nothing of sort or the case has not started. So Oliver will be in court this morning, but it is today that Justice Mary Yenzu fixed. Originally, what was expected to happen is that Oliver is going to empanel a new jury to try him before the AG filed this nolle prosequa. But yesterday, when we broke the news, Oliver responded. It said something on Facebook, and we just want to go through with you this morning. So moments after we broke the news that the AG has filed a nolle prosequa, this is what he posted. Since the intention was to impede my doctoral program, I want to say ayeku to the government, making reference to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, and to Godfred Yeboah-Dame, that's the Attorney General at the time. They succeeded. And what did they succeed on? Kindly release my passport and take me off the no-fly risk list. And you notice that once you're an accused person, you have been charged and you are being granted bail. One of the conditions is that you attach your passport and all your documents at the registry of the court. You file it. In case you want to travel, you need a permission of the court to be able to travel. And there are instances that the court can turn you down. He's saying that his passports, as part of his bail conditions, are still before the court. And then he's on flight risk because he cannot travel. If he's traveling, he needs a permission of the court. In fact, you don't just go there and say, you have to go with a motion. You have to go and apply. And the court will have to find whether it is going to exercise that discretion in your favor by way of allowing you to go or not. And he went on to say, and now that I have lost my funding for Cambridge, we need to address that too, so I can finish my program. Shalom. So that is what Oliver Barker immediately posted when he broke the news that the Attorney General has filed a nolle prosequa to discontinue charges against him. But what is clear today is that he will be in court before Justice Mary Yenzu, his lawyer. In fact, he's expected to come with new lawyers. He notes that his lawyer, Dr. Justice Shemsai, has been appointed and duly confirmed as the new Deputy Attorney General for the Republic, so he can no longer represent him in court. So today, Oliver is expected to appear at the High Court with his new lawyer or new set of lawyers. And we'll know what that their response will be moments after this particular case is called. So at 9:30, this is what we expect to happen. But what is clear is that Oliver Barker-Vormawor will likely or will be discharged today when the prosecutors inform the court that they are withdrawing the charges or the charge sheet before the court. So that's one of the things that we should look up to. Then the former second lady's robbery incident, Yahuza Usmanu is in court for allegedly robbing the former second lady, Matilda Amissah-Arthur, and some 4 others. In fact, that case has been in court. The accused person is on remand. He's not been granted bail yet. At the last court sitting, what the prosecution indicated to the court was that if you look at the traumatic nature of the incident, the victims they are praying the court to allow the victims in this matter who will be testifying as prosecution witnesses to testify in camera, to testify in chambers. So they will not testify in open court for us to have them or to see or hear whatever they have been saying. The reason being that they are so traumatic to the extent that they wouldn't be okay sitting in open court to give testimony. But the accused person, the defense lawyers also raised a point and said that, look, there's somebody who has been accused in this manner. It's only fair that you give him that opportunity to defend himself, cross-examine the victims in the matter, so that at the end, he will also clear himself. But what the court presided over by Justice Kizita Nakwa-Kwashi has indicated was for the prosecution to provide further and better particulars as to why they want the victims, or some of the victims in this case, to come testify in camera. In camera, I must say. In camera.
Okay, so not on open court.
They're not in open court. That wouldn't have been
a problem. But what was the reasons that were given? I mean, why can't they testify in open court?
So one of the things that she said extensively was that some of the victims were traumatized. And if you look at the nature of the things that happened, they would rather prefer to testify.
Were they robbed at gunpoint?
So if you listen to the story of the former second lady, she said that she was robbed at a gunpoint, she was attacked at a point in time, she had to even faint and all of that. And so fell unconscious and all of that. So these are some, in fact, she was having a ceremony, I think it was in the church that she made that narration and all of that. So it is expected that it's an emotional turn of events, very emotional indeed. And so once that happened, they think that they didn't mention names specifically as this victim or that person, but we do know that per the narration and per the case before the court, Yahuza is facing 24 counts, 20 counts of stealing and 4 counts of dishonestly receiving. Initially it was 26 counts, but they have to revise the substitute the charge sheet and the charges or the counts reduced. So 20 counts of stealing, and in fact various items, various sums of money were allegedly stolen from, including cars and all of that. So
that's a smart businessman.
Some of the cars that they retrieved from him were told that they were stolen cars. So that's how come he was charged for dishonestly receiving by way of the amended charge sheets that they brought before the court. So Yahuza Usmanu, who is still in prison custody, is expected in court today, and the prosecution will have to then convince the courts as to why they want some of their witnesses to testify in camera or to testify in chambers. And I know that that is always going to be challenged by the legal team or the defense lawyers led by Paul Asibi Abariga in relation to this matter. So these are the things that we look forward to. Oliver is coming up, and of course, Yahuza Usmanu, the former second lady's robbery case, will also come up today. So this is all we have for you by way of court today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lily.
I hope that this morning have not ruffled some feathers.
Sometimes you have to tone down. You have to tone down for them.
Anyway, I'll catch you on the flip side.
Absolutely.
So that's Murtala Inusah with court today.